Hi, my name is Mincy and I work on IBM Cloud Pak for AIOps. Today, I'm going to provide an overview of log connectors. In a typical AIOps use case, users configure connectors to gather data from various sources, such as logs, events, and metrics, which is then sent for AI model training to establish a baseline of normal behavior. After the training is complete and the AI models are deployed, the connectors are enabled for continuous data streaming. This streaming data is processed to detect any anomalies which can be correlated with other alerts and published to ChatOps platforms like Slack or Microsoft Teams, assisting in determining the cause and resolution of issues. Users can then take action on these events using runbook automation or other collaboration tools. This is the homepage of IBM Cloud Pak for AIOps. To get started, navigate to the Data and Tool Connections page. Next, click on the Add Connection button to access the catalog page. We can filter the connections based on the connection type. For example, let's select the logs connector. There are 6 different types of log connections supported, including ELK, the Elastic Stack, Falcon log skill, log DNA, and Splunk log sources. Additionally, there are custom and Kafka connectors. Let's use Falcon log skill, previously known as Humio, as an example for configuring the connection. First, provide a name for the connection followed by the service URL and the API token for the connector to connect to the external Falcon log skill service. Optionally, users can enter the certificate used to verify TLS connections to the REST service. There's also a filter field to define subsets of data to collect from the external service. Base parallelism specifies the number of link jobs that can run in parallel to normalize the collected data, with the default set to 1, and the sampling rate is the rate at which data is pulled from the live source in seconds, with the default value set to 60 seconds. We can leave these two fields as default. The JSON processing option is used to manage embedded JSON in the logs, and further details will be covered in upcoming videos. Once all the fields are configured, click on the Test Connection button to verify whether the URL and the credentials provided are correct to establish connections to the external Falcon log skill service. If the test failed, please check the URL and the API token as well as the certificate to ensure that they are correct. If there are any restrictive egress network policies in place, ensure that they allow this outbound connection. And if the test is successful, like this example, proceed to the next page. On the next page, define the mapping to map the incoming JSON payload to Cloud alert. This is the default mapping for reference. Next, on the following page, enable data collection mode if it is not already enabled. There are 3 modes to choose from. To establish a baseline for AI model training on normal behavior, we need to collect at least 2 weeks of normal log data using either historical or the live mode. Typically, it is faster to collect 2 weeks of historical data, but if historical data is unavailable, use the live mode option here and leave it run for 2 weeks. In this example, let's use the historical mode. Select a start and the end date. The source parallelism specifies the number of requests that can run in parallel to collect data from the source. Once everything is configured correctly, click on Done to create the connection. Once the connection is established, the UI will display a running status. In this example, the third connection is the one that we have just created and it is still initializing. Later, it should change to a running status like what is showing here. Once the data collection is completed, it will show a done status. After data collection, navigate to the AI model management to set up log anomaly detection training. I have already configured the log anomaly detection for natural language before this, and a V4 model is already deployed. So once the training is completed and model is deployed, we must enable the log connector for continuous data streaming to detect future anomalies. To do this, we return to the connection that we have just created. Assuming the connection that we created is already completed, now we have to select the live data for continuous AI training and anomaly detection mode. Save the connection and ensure that it is running by looking at the UI. If all is good, now any anomalies are detected, an alert will be generated and can be viewed in the alert viewer. These are some examples of a log anomaly alert. In summary, we have covered a typical use case for log connectors in AIOps. Thank you.